Tonight, we are learning even more about Joe and Hunter's interactions, including this voicemail obtained by the Daily Mail from October of 2018, where Joe Biden is allegedly begging Hunter to get help for his substance abuse. Take a listen.
Dad, I called to tell you I love you. I love you more than the whole world, pal. I gotta get some help. I don't know what to do. I know you don't either.
Can you believe that? I'm so glad Sean Hannity is blowing the lid off of this entire thing about Hunter Biden being a drug addict and his father, the president of the United States, Joe Biden, in a private message to his son. He actually said, I don't know what to do, son. I want to help you out. You mean more to me than the whole world. I don't know what to do, and I know you don't either. Let's get you some help. I can't believe he'd do such a thing. What a heartless bastard. Crazy, because I think Sean Hannity thought, just as long as we say someone has some kind of issues with their family, and maybe there's a family member who is on drugs, that's just the end all be all. Time to judge. And he's just showing us who the Republican Party really is. Some details, because Hannity played this audio. It was obtained by the Daily Mail and was reportedly recorded on October 15th of 2018. 3 days after Hunter Biden allegedly made a false statement while purchasing a gun. Also, if you noticed, October 15th, 2018, a few years before President Biden was President Biden. Regardless, let's just connect it to him anyway, as far as right now. After he aired the voicemail on Monday, Hannity said it's actually sad. He's right about that. By the way, replace the name Biden with Trump and imagine how the mob and the media would be covering all of this. That's what Hannity also added. Instead, they'd rather perpetuate one hoax after another, just like they did with the dirty Steele dossier. That's the whole crux of this. I'm glad you pointed it out, Sean. He said the problem is that if you switch the names of the presidents here, all these libs and Democrats will be coming after Donald Trump for having a son who's a drug addict. People already kind of speculate about that already. Let's watch his son.
Again, when gas prices go up, there's nothing he can do, according to the media. When they go down a few cents, it's all because of his policy. It's amazing how that happens.
I don't think Joe's smart enough to be like, hey, let's send him off the trail. Don't hack the McDonald's on DC.
Runs right away. It's Russian disinformation. There's literally zero evidence of that it's Russian disinformation. The director of national intelligence said it. And by the way, more importantly, the FBI said it. And I don't say that because I think the FBI has more credibility.
I mean, why doesn't he just give Putin, like, I don't know, the keys to the nuclear football?
I say that because it's pretty clear that the FBI has done whatever they possibly could to hurt Donald Trump. Remember the 4th of July barbecue? You saved 10 cents last year, right? This year, that same basket of goods is up $10. That's not my problem.
No, we're not clear on the substance potentially used in those cases. But now, maybe a Sean Hannity defender could be watching this and go, see? You're making fun of this president's son for being potentially on whatever could be alcohol to any other kind of substance. And isn't this the same thing as what Hannity was doing? No. The problem is that when you have people that look to help folks that are addicted or help families that are addicted or actually have some kind of a workaround to get someone better, to get them help, that's the people that you hate on because they have a son that's on drugs. The attacks on Trump and all them is, let's kill drug addicts. Let's incarcerate them further. 20 years in prison. There are these levels of punishment when you're acting like you're better than everyone else. And sometimes you have to point out, we all know a drug addict. We all got members of the family that have issues at times. And you're acting like you're above it. So then you start to lord over other folks and tell them, hey, we're better than you. We're gonna put together all these laws and actually incarcerate folks for minimal things because we wanna show how we're tough on crime. Except when it's your crime. We see this regularity. Before we go to more about this, Jordan, your thoughts?
Sure, what conservatives and what Hannity thought the reaction was going to be to this voicemail. All of that did was show Joe Biden loves his son. That's it. Okay, I mean, that's a reasonable position. Most people, I think most normal people in this country, if their kid had addiction issues, they would do something similar. So I think it shows how detached Hannity and other Fox personalities are from, just being able to evaluate human interaction, but also addiction. And this is something that Trump really tried to pat himself on the back for, that he was, tackling the opioid crisis and he wanted to, help people, break free from their addiction and threw money around, and nothing really became of that, but it was a good PR thing for Trump during his administration. I don't understand just this idea that we need to malign addicts. Never really understood it, because those are people who desperately need help, and just shunning them, mocking them, incarcerating them isn't ever going to help. That's not how you cure an addiction. So I don't quite understand that. But the more analogous thing, I don't know if it's necessarily Don Jr., it's really Bush's kids. If you remember when Bush was president, his daughters were constantly in the news for being big partiers. And like, honestly, I don't really care. They were in college, they can do whatever they want. But the right was clutching their pearls that anybody would dare cover Bush's kids for their partying. So we have an example of what the right-wing media would do if tables were turned. It was during the Bush administration.
And we saw it, and it's always based off of circling the wagons, not off of any of these actual principles. It's about the political side of it. There was other reactions that are similar to what we're talking about here, but graphic 5 here on this particular tweet from Brian Dawson, I think encapsulates it the best. He said Biden lost his wife and son. They keep forgetting this part. And his son Beau. His other son Hunter lost his mother and brother. Struggled with depression, alcohol, and drugs. Biden called him to tell him he loved him without condition. Sean Hannity aired the call to hurt Biden. Republicans are sick. I admire Joe Biden more. I think that's probably most of the response from folks that saw that and know the story and everything about that. We've heard the story about Donald Trump. The reason he's not a drinker at all, partially, he lost his brother to alcoholism. It scars you, but we can acknowledge that, but then not acknowledge that this family member lost so much. And maybe it affected him to the point where he ended up in this state. Or maybe it wasn't, maybe it was something else. It doesn't matter. That's the whole point. To try not to score political points based off someone else's life, strictly for that reason. You can use them as an example as why you want to do something different. But if this is a straight attack to be like, now the midterms are coming, look at this audio, you come up empty.